Hey everyone, welcome to Learn English with Miss. In today's lesson, we will learn about figurative language. What is figurative language? Figurative language is a type of descriptive language where the meaning of the phrase is not to be taken literally or word for word. The phrase has a deeper or more abstract meaning. Here are a few different types of figurative languages. Metaphor is a comparison that does not include the words like or as. Simile is a comparison that includes the words like or as. A hyperbole is an extreme exaggeration used to make a point. Personification is the act of giving human qualities to animals or inanimate objects. Idiom is an expression whose meaning is different from the meaning of its individual words. Onomatopoeia is a word whose sound suggests its meaning. Understatement is a statement that is weakened to convey a stronger meaning. Alliteration is the repetition of a consonant sound at the beginning of words. Imagery is a vivid description that includes details that appeal to the senses. Cliché is an expression or phrase used so often it becomes stale and loses meaning. Symbol is an object that stands for an idea. Figurative language means something different than their literal meaning. Simile, comparing two things using like or as. For example, as fast as lightning or fast as lightning. Metaphor, comparing two different things. For example, he is a pig. Alliteration, same letter or sound occurring at the beginning of words. For example, she sells seashells. Personification, giving human qualities to a non human item. It was begging to be eaten. Now, this is the ice cream talking. And we all know that ice cream cannot talk. So, that is an example of personification. Onomatopoeia is a sound written out as a word. For example, woof, bark, yip, bow wow. An idiom is a saying that has a different meaning than what it literally says. For example, the homework was a piece of cake. Hyperbole is a saying exaggerated beyond belief to make a point. For example, I'm so hungry I could eat a horse. Understanding the concept of figurative language. Anytime your writing goes beyond the actual meanings of your words, you're using figurative language. This allows the reader to gain new insights into your work. While there are 12 common types, the five main branches of the figurative tree include metaphors, similes, personification, hyperbole, and symbolism. One of the best ways to understand the concept of figurative language is to see it in action. Explore a few examples of the five main branches. This coffee shop is an ice bar. Iceberg or icebox is a metaphor. She's drowning in a sea of grief. Metaphor. She's happy as a clam. Simile. I move fast like a cheetah on the Serengeti. Simile. The sea lashed out in anger at the ships, unwilling to tolerate another battle. Personification. The sky misses the sun at night. Personification. I've told you a million times to clean your room. Hyperbole. Her head was spinning from all the new information. Hyperbole. She was living her life in chains. Symbolism. When she saw the dove soar high above her home, she knew the worst was over. Symbolism. Here are a few different hyperbole examples. A hyperbole is an outrageous exaggeration that emphasizes a point. It tends toward the ridiculous or the funny. Hyperbole adds color and depth to a character. You snore louder than a freight train. It's a slow burn. I spent a couple of weeks there one day. She's so dumb. She thinks Taco Bell is a Mexican phone company. I had to walk 15 miles to school in the snow, uphill in bare feet. You could have knocked me over with a feather. Metaphor examples. When you use a metaphor, you make a statement that doesn't literally make sense. For example, time is a thief. Time is not actually stealing from you, but this conveys the idea that hours or days sometimes seem to slip by without you noticing. Metaphors only make sense when the similarities between the two things being compared are apparent or readers understand the connection between the two words. The world is my oyster. You're a couch potato. Time is money. He has a heart of stone. America is a melting pot. You are my sunshine. Personification examples. When you look at personification, it gives human characteristics to inanimate objects, animals, or ideas. This can really affect the way the reader imagines things. Personification is often used in poetry, fiction, and children's rhymes. Opportunity knocked at his door. The sun greeted me this morning. The sky was full of dancing stars. The vines wove their delicate fingers together. The radio suddenly stopped singing and stared at me. The sun played hide and seek with the clouds. Simile examples. A simile also compares two things. However, similes use the words like or as. Busy as a bee, clean as a whistle, brave as a lion. The tall girl stood out like a sore thumb. It was as easy as shooting fish in a barrel. My mouth was as dry as a bone. They fought like cats and dogs. Watching that movie was like watching grass grow. Symbolism. In writing, symbolism occurs when a word has its own meaning but represents something entirely different. Explore a few everyday and literary examples of symbolism by looking at the examples below. Using the image of the American flag to represent patriotism and a love for one's country, incorporating a red rose in your writing to symbolize love, using an apple pie to represent a traditional American lifestyle, using a chalkboard to represent education, incorporating the color black in your writing as a symbol for evil or death, using an owl to represent wisdom. Let's recap. In your notebook, look at each example and write down what type of figurative language it is. So, what are you waiting for? Let's begin. As cool as a cucumber. The paintbrush was like a magic wand in his hand. The two goldfish were like floating butterscotch candies. Eyes like diamonds, cold as ice, teeth like razors, searching for a victim. Sharks. The paintbrush was a magic wand in his hand. The sun was a gleaming pearl. My baby brother is a cute little teddy bear. My sister's memory is a camera that remembers everything we see. The car seat is a fluffy cloud. Her smile was a mile wide. She cried for so long that she made a lake. I'm all ears. The flowers begged for water. The house was lazy and unkempt. Lightning danced across the sky. Trees bowed to the ground. The carved pumpkin smiled at me. The vines wove their fingers together to form a braid. The wind whispered softly in the night. The sun played hide and seek with the clouds. The camera loved her. The radio sprang to life at the touch of a button. The bed groaned. My smile shouts, I'm not awake yet. The wind whispers like a tree in the breeze. Cars dance across the icy road. The rundown, destroyed house appeared depressed. She did not realize that opportunity was knocking at her door. Time flew by, and before we knew it, the school day was over. At the same time each morning, my alarm springs to life. The fire ran wild all over town. Water drop making a splashing sound. The pig making an oink sound. Pop goes the bottle, clapping our hands, clap, and whispering. Pop, boom, vroom, pitter patter, whiz, bang, crash, drip, meow, wham, buzz, zap, crackle, eek, crunch, splash, squish, swoosh, ring, boing. Now let's go over your answers and see how well you did. This is an example of a simile because it uses the word as cool as a cucumber. This is also an example of a simile because it uses the word like. The paintbrush was like a magic wand in his hand. This is an example of a simile because it uses the word like. The two goldfish were like floating butterscotch candies. This is an example of a simile because it uses the word like and as. Eyes like diamonds, cold as ice, teeth like razors, searching for a victim. This is an example of a metaphor. There is no use of like or as. Also, this sentence is stating that the paintbrush is a magic wand. The paintbrush was a magic wand in his hand. And these are examples of metaphors. The sun was a gleaming pearl. My baby brother is a cute little teddy bear. My sister's memory is a camera that remembers everything we see. The car seat is a fluffy cloud. This is an example of a hyperbole because it is an exaggerated statement or it claims something that is not meant to be taken literally. Her smile was a mile wide. This is an example of a hyperbole again because it is a statement that is not meant to be taken literally. She cried for so long that she made a lake. Here is another example of a hyperbole, which means it is a statement not meant to be taken literally. I'm all ears. This usually means that the person is eager and ready to listen to what you have to say. These are examples of personification because of the attribution of a personal, nature, or human characteristic to something non human, or the representation of an abstract quality in human form. For example, the flowers begged for water. The house was lazy and unkempt. Lightning danced across the sky. Trees bowed to the ground. The carved pumpkin smiled at me. The vines wove their fingers together to form a braid. The wind whispered softly in the night. The sun played hide and seek with the clouds. The camera loved her. The radio sprang to life at the touch of a button. The bed groaned. So these are all inanimate objects given human characteristics. This is known as personification. Here are a few more examples of personification. My smile shouts, I'm not awake yet. The wind whispers like a tree in the breeze. Cars dance across the icy road. The rundown, destroyed house appeared depressed. She did not realize that opportunity was knocking at her door. Time flew by, and before we knew it, the school day was over. At the same time each morning, my alarm springs to life. These are examples of onomatopoeia because of the formation of a word from a sound associated with what is named. Splash, oink, clap, whisper, pop. Again, here are a few more examples of onomatopoeias. Pop, boom, vroom, pitter patter, whiz, bang, crash, drip, meow, wham, buzz, zap, crackle, eek, crunch, splash, squish, swoosh, ring, boing. In today's lesson, we learned about figurative language. Thank you for watching and learning with me. I'll see you again next time. Bye bye.